98% of people who are always broke at the end of the month don't have a money problem. They have a 6-year-old problem that was never resolved. And in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what hidden pattern from your childhood is. Draining your bank account every month, and you don't even realize it. Look, I know what you're thinking. Oh, here comes another one talking about spreadsheets, cutting out coffee, discipline. No, this isn't about that. Because if it were just about discipline, you would have already fixed it, right? The truth is, there's a program running in your subconscious since you were 5, 6, 7 years old. A program that was installed by the way your parents dealt with money, by the phrases you heard, by the fears you absorbed. And this program is making all your financial decisions without you realizing it. So put away the spreadsheet. Today we're going deeper, much deeper. First, I'm going to show you the 4 childhood patterns that destroy adult finances. Then, I'll reveal the 2-minute test for you to discover which is your pattern. And at the end, I'm going to give you the psychological antidote that breaks this cycle once and for all. Let me ask you a very direct question. Have you ever made more money than you make today? Like, have you had a raise, a promotion, a bonus? And even so, at the end of the month, the feeling was the same. Exactly. You know why? Because the problem was never the amount of money. It was your relationship with money. And relationships? Relationships are built in childhood. There's a study from the University of Cambridge that discovered something disturbing. By age 7, our attitudes about money are already formed. 7 years old, you barely knew how to tie your shoes, but your brain had already decided if money was safety or danger, abundance or scarcity, freedom or guilt. And here's where it gets interesting and disturbing. Because there are 4 main patterns that form at this time, and each one has a specific way of destroying your finances in adult life. And I bet you'll recognize yourself in at least one of them. These patterns have been mapped by decades of behavioral psychology. I'm going to call them the scarce, the deserving, the rebel, and the invisible. And you can be sure, one of them is controlling your financial life right now. First pattern, the scarce. The child who heard, "We don't have money." Imagine a 6-year-old child. She sees a toy in the store, asks her mom. Her mom sighs, looks at her with that tired look and says, "Honey, we don't have money for that." The child feels shame, feels that asking is wrong, feels that money is a finite resource that's never enough. This child grows up and becomes the scarce. And you know what her financial behavior is? She spends everything at the end of the month. Seems contradictory, right? But look at the subconscious logic. If money is never enough anyway, if there's always going to be lack, why save? Why deprive myself now, if in the end, there'll never be enough? It's what psychology calls self-fulfilling scarcity prophecy. The scarce can't save because deep down they don't believe it's possible. So they sabotage. They spend before the universe takes it away from them. You are the scarce. If you always have an emergency that justifies spending everything, you feel physical anxiety seeing money sitting in your account. You think, "I'll save next month," but never do. You have the impulse to enjoy it while you have it. Second pattern, the deserving. The child who never had now compensates. This one is cruel. The deserving grew up in a home where money was tight, saw their parents sacrifice themselves, never had the shoes they wanted, never went to the party, was always the poor one. And this created a deep wound. Now as an adult, they earn their own money. And they have one mission: prove to the wounded child inside them that they deserve. So they buy. Buy the expensive shoes, buy the latest phone, dine at the fancy place. Because deep down, each purchase is a message to the 8-year-old child. See? You're not that poor kid anymore. The problem? You're not buying things. You're trying to buy healing, and healing can't be bought. So you buy again, and again, and again. It's a bottomless pit. You are the deserving if. You justify expenses with, "I work hard, I deserve it." You feel angry when someone questions your spending. You buy things to feel good. You have difficulty saying no to yourself. Third pattern, the rebel. The child who was controlled too much. This pattern is fascinating. The rebel grew up in a home where money was rigid, super controlling father or mother. You can't buy that. It's wasteful. Save everything. Money doesn't grow on trees. Control, control, control. And you know what happens when you over-control a child? They grow up and do the opposite, not by logic, but by rebellion. Their brain associates financial control with prison, so every time they try to make a budget, make a spreadsheet, save, something inside them screams, "No, I'm not going to be controlled again." The rebel downloads the finance app, lasts 3 days, then completely ignores it, makes a debt they know they shouldn't, orders delivery again, even though there's food at home, because each irresponsible expense is an act of freedom. You are the rebel if you feel angry about having to control yourself, you sabotage your own financial plans, you act on impulse just because I wanted to, you associate financial discipline with suffering. Fourth pattern, the invisible, the child who learned not to exist. This is the most silent and perhaps the saddest. The invisible grew up in a family where their needs were always secondary. Parents had problems, fights, illnesses, and this child learned one thing: don't ask, don't bother, don't take up space. Now as an adult, the invisible can't spend money on themselves. They literally can't. They buy for everyone, for the kids, for their partner, for their parents, for friends. But for themselves? Oh, I don't need it. It's fine like this. I'll see about it later. And here's the destructive pattern. They don't invest in themselves, don't take the course, don't buy the outfit for the interview, don't take care of their health. And you know what happens? They continue earning little. Because deep down, they don't allow money to flow to them. They've become invisible even to their own finances. You are the invisible if you spend on everyone except yourself. You feel guilty buying something for yourself. You say, "I don't need it." Even when you do, your needs are always last. And here's what's crazy. Most people have one dominant pattern, but carry traits of others. You can be deserving with a touch of rebel, or scarce who became invisible. And that's exactly why solving this is so complex. But wait, because there's an even deeper layer to all this. And this layer explains why you repeat the same mistake every month, even knowing it's wrong. Let me explain what's happening in your brain when you make that purchase No, you shouldn't. Because it's not weakness. It's not lack of character. It's pure neurology. Your brain has 3 layers, like a psychological onion. The reptilian brain, the oldest part, it only wants immediate survival. Danger? Run. Pleasure? Grab it. The limbic brain, the emotional part. This is where your childhood emotional memories live. All those patterns we talked about, they're here, recorded, operating 24/7. The neocortex, the rational part. This is the voice that says, "You need to save, dude." But there's a problem. It's the weakest of the 3. So here's what happens. You see a sale. Your reptilian brain screams, "Pleasure now!" Your limbic brain whispers, "Remember when you were a kid and couldn't have anything? Now you can." And the neocortex tries to say, "But the credit card." But it's too late. 2 against 1. You click buy, and then comes the guilt. But guilt doesn't change the pattern, because the pattern is down there, in the limbic, untouched. And this is where the real villain lives. Let me draw the cycle for you. Step 1. Emotional trigger. Something makes you anxious, sad, stressed. Could be the annoying boss, the argument at home, the bill that arrived. Step 2. Pattern activation. Your childhood pattern wakes up. The scarce feels, since it's already bad. The deserving feels, I need to feel better. The rebel feels, screw everything. The invisible feels, at least I'll please someone. Step 3. Compensatory action. You spend, buy, order, and for 5 minutes. Relief. Step 4. Guilt and shame. You look at the bill. Why did I do this again? Guilt. Shame. anger at yourself. Step 5. Pattern reinforcement. And here's the kicker. The guilt and shame reinforce the original pattern. The scarce thinks, see, I knew it wouldn't work out. The deserving thinks, I'm a failure anyway. And the cycle closes, and restarts, and restarts, and restarts. And look, I need to tell you something. It's not your fault. You didn't choose this pattern. You inherited it. It was programmed into you when you were too much of a child to defend yourself. But now you're an adult. And adults can reprogram. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. Okay, enough diagnosis. Time for the cure. I'm going to give you a 4-step protocol that reprograms your brain. It's not fast, it's not magic, but it works. If you apply this for the next 90 days, you'll break the cycle that's been haunting you for decades. First step, identify your trigger. Get a notebook. Seriously, for 7 days, every time you feel the urge to spend impulsively, write down, what were you feeling 5 minutes before? Anxiety, boredom, sadness, anger. What happened today that affected you? What childhood pattern did this activate? Example, boss ignored me in the meeting. I felt invisible. Pattern, the invisible. Wanted to buy a gift for my boyfriend to feel useful. When you name the pattern in the moment, you take it out of the unconscious and bring it to light. And what's in the light you can control. Second step, create the golden 10 minutes. Golden rule. Between impulse and action, 10 minutes. Always. Felt the urge to buy? You will buy, but only in 10 minutes. In this 10-minute window, you do the following. First, breathe, 2 minutes. 4, 7, 8, breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. This calms the reptilian brain. Second, talk to the wounded child. 5 minutes, literally. Speak out loud or write. I know you're scared, sad, angry. I understand, but buying this won't heal what you need to heal. I'll take care of you in another way. Third, ask the magic question, 1 minute. Will this expense bring me closer to or further from the life I want? Studies show that 70% of purchase impulses disappear after a 10-minute pause. Your job is to give yourself those 10 minutes. Third step, rewrite the childhood story. This is powerful. You're going to do an exercise that psychology calls re-imprinting, emotional re-imprinting. Sit in a quiet place. Close your eyes. Remember one childhood scene that formed your pattern. That moment when your mom said, "We don't have money." Or when you were the only one in class who didn't go on the field trip. Now as an adult, you enter that scene. You pick up the child and say, to the scarce, "You are enough. There will always be enough. I'll take care of you." To the deserving, "You always deserved. Your dignity never depended on having things. You're valuable just for existing." To the rebel, "You are free. Controlling money isn't prison, it's freedom. You can choose." To the invisible, "I see you. Your needs matter. You deserve to take up space. Do this 5 minutes a day, 30 days. Your brain will start to believe." Fourth step, do the opposite of the pattern. Last step, you're going to deliberately act against your pattern. Once a week, contrary action. The scarce. Save $10 even if you don't have any left over. Train your brain that you can always save something. The deserving. Deny a simple purchase desire. Not because you can't, but to prove you're fine without it. The rebel. Make a spreadsheet. Just once. Just to prove to yourself that you have control. You're not controlled. The invisible. Buy one thing just for yourself, just because you want to. Train the act of existing. Each contrary action creates a new synapse in the brain. You're literally building a new neural pathway. At first it's uncomfortable, then it becomes habit, and habit becomes identity. Look, I'm not going to lie to you, this takes work. A lot of work. You'll be reprogramming decades of conditioning. But you know what the alternative is? Continue in the cycle. Continue going broke at the end of the month. Continue hating yourself for not being able to change. Or you decide that the wounded child inside you has already suffered enough, and that now the adult you become will do what your parents couldn't, heal the pattern, and leave a different legacy. Before I finish, I need to tell you something that completely changed how I see all this. For years, I was the deserving classic. I earned, spent, always broke, and I hated myself for it. Thought I was weak, stupid, irresponsible. Until one day in a therapy session, I understood I wasn't trying to destroy myself. I was trying to heal myself, just with the wrong tool. Each purchase was a desperate message from the 8-year-old child saying, "Please prove to me that I matter." And I understood that you're not sabotaging yourself either. You're trying to save yourself, the only way your brain learned how. And when I stopped judging myself and started having compassion for the wounded child inside me, that's when everything changed. Because compassion doesn't keep you stuck in the pattern. Compassion gives you strength to change. So here's what I want you to take from this video. You're not broken. You're operating with old software. And old software can be updated. But first, you need to stop treating yourself as an enemy and start treating yourself as someone who needs healing. Your parents did the best they could with the tools they had. They passed patterns to you because they received patterns. But the chain can be broken, and it breaks with you. So quick recap. You're not always broke due to lack of discipline. You're operating one of the 4 childhood patterns: scarce, deserving, rebel, or invisible. And the antidote is map, pause, reframe, and act against. If this video moved you, if you recognized yourself in some pattern, do this. Leave a like down below. It's not for ego. It's because the more people like it, the more YouTube shows this to other people who are stuck in the same cycle you were in. You literally help someone break free. And comment down below. What's your pattern? Scarce, deserving, rebel, or invisible? I read all the comments and respond. Sometimes just naming it out loud, you already start to change. And if you want to go deeper, I made a video about how to heal the scarce pattern specifically, which is the most common and most destructive. It's right here, worth every second. Thank you for staying until the end. Thank you for having the courage to look at these wounds. The change starts now, and I'm here on this journey with you. See you in the next video. Until then.